Kalecia Williams posted a TikTok video of herself dancing on December 26, 2020 before being interrupted by someone breaking into her hotel room. She was staying at the Hyatt Regency in Atlanta. The 16-year-old was shot and murdered minutes later. Kalecia Williams, a 16-year-old high school student, was invited to a party and was tragically killed there. She was later brought to the hospital, where she breathed her last. The attacker was a teenage boy who was a friend of Kalecia's. In a moment of rage, he shot Kalecia following an encounter. The adolescent was arrested for a variety of felonies, including murder. Kalecia's parents want vengeance for their angel. They sent their daughter to the party with the guarantee that she would be looked after by the chaperone. In December 2020, Kalecia Williams was invited to a chaperone party at an Airbnb. Ronnie Savoy, Kalecia's stepfather, invited her to the celebration because she had been confined to her home since the lockdown. Kalecia's mother, April Smith, agreed with Savoy's idea. She then called the chaperone to make sure she was safe. Smith was instructed that the event would be an Airbnb party for children and that she would be in charge of everything. The parents were relieved and decided that sending Kalecia to stay the night was a wonderful idea. But fate had other plans. Kalecia was taken to a hotel instead of an Airbnb. Kalecia was taken away from the Airbnb party to Atlanta's Hyatt Regency Atlanta Hotel on Peachtree St. Denis. The chaperone paid for the children's accommodation at the Hyatt Regency. This is for unspecified reasons. According to some, there was a problem with the Airbnb reservation, causing the chaperone to plan the promised party at the hotel at the last minute. Kalecia enjoyed her day and went to bed at night, blissfully unknowing of what was ahead. Kalecia opened TikTok and began scrolling through the social networking app. At 12:02 a.m., Kalecia held her phone up to her face and began filming a TikTok. Kalecia spun around, as if startled that someone had entered her room without knocking. She then came to a complete stop while filming her video. A few seconds later, the sound of a gunshot filled her room. Nobody had any idea what had happened. Kalecia was killed at the gathering. She was laying on the floor of her hotel room when two men came to her rescue. They guided her to the elevator while supporting her legs and holding her back.
Police have identified a teenage girl who was shot and killed just after midnight at a downtown Atlanta hotel. 16-year-old Kalecia Williams was staying with a boy at the Hyatt Regency. Police say the two got into an argument which ended with Williams being shot. She later died at the hospital. Police say a young man has been detained and charged in her murder. He was taken to the Metro Youth Detention Center.
The police were notified of the earlier incident at the Hyatt Regency at 12:27 a.m. The officers checked on Kalecia once they arrived. She wasn't breathing and didn't have a pulse. She was then taken to the hospital. The doctors were able to revive Kalecia. Unfortunately, the 16-year-old did not survive and passed away in the hospital. Despite their numerous calls to the chaperone to ensure their child's safety, April Smith and Ronnie Savoy were uninformed of Kalecia's death. When Kalecia's parents called, the chaperone did not answer the phone. The chaperone called Kalecia's parents 8 hours after her death.
They'd have done this once before, so we was a little comfortable of letting her go the second time. And we spoke to the mother, and she said she was going to be there.
The shocking announcement shocked Kalecia's parents. They were furious at the chaperone for not informing them of the matter sooner. Smith had no idea Kalecia had booked a room in the Hyatt Regency rather than at an Airbnb party. April Smith feels that the chaperone was at fault and should be held accountable.
A lot of foul play, and I'm just trying to put all the pieces together because I don't feel like the system is doing enough work to help.
Kalecia also died at 12:30 a.m., 8 hours after the chaperone informed Smith of her daughter's death. Smith and Savoy's fury at the chaperone was quite reasonable.
I was responsible for getting the hotel room for these minors. The hotel room was in her name, so I feel like she should be held accountable for my daughter's death as well.
Kalecia's case was thoroughly investigated by the Atlanta Police Department. They discovered that Kalecia knew the young man who broke into her room at 12:02 a.m. The identity of the 16-year-old youngster was concealed at his request. They were having a lovely conversation until it turned into a heated argument.
after she made that last TikTok video at 12:02 and she was dead at 12:23. I need answers from 12:02 to 12:23.
Still no concrete answers outside of an arrest, according to Atlanta police. But this South Carolina woman just connected with the family days ago.
And I just got a chill in my body when she called me and my wife.
She says she stayed at the hotel during the chaos.
She was like, what hotel we at? What hotel? She was panicking, like she didn't know what was the name of the hotel. I seen two guys walking off the elevator with a little girl holding one leg. One was holding one leg and the other one was holding the other leg, and that was since she had been shot.
She says she took this video of EMTs trying to resuscitate Pinky, which only makes the family even more suspicious.
The Atlanta Police Department spokesman, Anthony Grant, stated, "Preliminary evidence indicates that the victim was in a Hyatt Regency room with a young male friend. Both parties engaged in a verbal altercation, which culminated in the juvenile male fatally shooting the victim. The police quickly apprehended the 16-year-old boy and took him to Atlanta Police Headquarters for further interrogation. The adolescent admitted to shooting Kalecia in a fit of rage. The teen was then charged with felony homicide, reckless conduct, aggravated assault, and weapon possession by a person under the age of 18. Kalecia's parents and allies staged a demonstration outside the Hyatt Regency in response to their child's death as a result of the hotel's negligence.
Tuesday, 24 friends and family members of 16-year-old Kalecia Williams shouted her name from the Hyatt Regency where she was last seen alive.
Williams' family, on the other hand, is pursuing more charges in the case, including accusations against the parent who booked the hotel room while the dead teen's family thought she was at an Airbnb party. According to the teen's online obituary, Kalecia's viewing was held at the R.W. Andrews Mortuary in East Point on Friday, January 1, 2021, from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. Her funeral was scheduled at 2 p.m. on Saturday, January 2, 2021, at the Life-Changing Walk of Faith Church on Washington Road. April Smith looked to be in mourning at the death of her beloved child. She swore to prosecute Kalecia's case.